Come in and celebrate Lowe's Spring Fest before it's over with 4 bags of select Scott's mulch for $10. Or to grow your garden, we've got 4 11.8-ounce Bonnie vegetables and herbs for $10. Give your garden and lawn the full spring treatment. Spring Fest, a festival of fun and savings for your garden and total home. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Offers valid through 4/28 while supplies last. In-store only. Selection varies by location. U.S. only, excluding Alaska and Hawaii.
The race war continues in full swing. Radical blacks are being used as the pawns by socialist, communist, and atheist whites, by the Jewish left, which is Marxian, by radical Muslims, by radical LGBTQs, by radicals of every single group, including the feminists. They're being used as the pawns. And they're being used as the pawns in a number of different ways. First of all of this violence in the streets is just a prelude to a total bloody revolution by the left if we rise up and if we oppose them. Secondly, the allegations about police officers are used as a pretext. By and large, yes, there are some bad police officers, very, very few. The reality is that black crime is much higher than white crime, so you're going to have black people shot sometimes in the course of committing a crime per capita. And that's something that won't be said, but I'll say it. You can't even find it on the internet because Google's erased all of that. But that's just a reality. I know. I've had people in my family who are cops. They patrol in these areas. They're not even conservatives, believe me. My brother in Philadelphia, when he was a cop, is not a conservative. But he'll tell you that. But here's the thing, is that it's being used as a pretext now because they've got this yes man, this clown of an attorney general, Merrick Garland, who was, God forbid, once nominated for the Supreme Court. His mind is almost as blown as Biden. You can see the guy's way over the hill. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. And he's being used by Biden and Harris and the left to now take control of local police departments all over the country, whether it's Chicago, whether it's in Kentucky, whether it's in Minnesota. And once they have control, this is what Obama did. He did it in Arizona with Sheriff Joe Arpaio's police department in Maricopa County. The police protection will be decimated and crime will run even more rampant than it's running today. This is, in fact, a plot. It's a scheme by the left to socialize, communize, and atheize this country. That's what's going on. Unless the American people rise up now, peacefully and legally, and that's what I write about in my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. You can get it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, BooksAMillion.com, at FreedomWatchUSA.org with a contribution of $50 or more. We'll send it to you for free. We use that for our work, to support our work. Unless we rise up now, the country's forever lost. And then, of course, on the foreign policy front, John Kerry has reared his ugly head again. We know that, in fact, he was a traitor in Vietnam. My client, Jerry Corsi, wrote a book about it. It cost him the election when he ran against George W. Bush for president. He was a traitor, and he's a traitor now. It's now disclosed that he released classified information to the Iranians over Israeli military activities in Syria. It's on tape. It's not disputable. John Kerry is an anti-Semite. John Kerry hates this country. John Kerry is a traitor. And what do the Republicans do? The dead Republican Party, including Marco Rubio? They just say he should resign. Well, he shouldn't just resign. He needs to be prosecuted, and we'll put him in front of our citizens' grand jury this Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can see it and watch it at freedomwatchusa.org. We are going to be securing the indictment after 5 sessions of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Frank Biden for massive bribery schemes from communist China, Ukraine, and Russia. And we'll throw Kerry into the mix. It's time that he's indicted as well. But again, what do the Republicans do? Just resign. No consequence. That's why that party is dead. It's over. It's finished. Forget about it. Stick a fork in it. It's worthless. And that's why I'm forming a separate party. I already have incorporated it. I have the domain names. We own the trademark. The New American Independence Party. It's a separate organization from Freedom Watch. But we need to rise up. And this brings me to our Third Continental Congress that we're holding in Philadelphia on July 5th and 6th of this year. We'll have a rally. I want everybody to attend. We're going to have very learned people that are going to discuss declaring independence yet again, 245 years later from July 4th, 1776. And it's time that we take our country back and to say, hey, you criminals in Washington, Democrats and Republicans, of course, the Democrats are much worse. They're evil. They're evil to the core. They're socialists and communists. They're godless. They are turned into the party of the devil. But we need to start a new country, a new government. And that's what it says in our Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events, the rulers, the sovereign, no longer represents the people. Under the laws of nature and nature's God, the people have a right to alter or abolish that government and to form a new government by and for the people with equal rights for everyone in pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That's what we must do. Leave the criminals in Washington. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah, carry on. Get your togas, do whatever you want. Forget it. You don't represent most of the American people anymore. You don't. So we will form a new government with an electoral system that is not based on fraud. Remove immunity from federal judges. Make it clear that they don't have life tenure, which they really don't have now. Elect judges who are accountable to the people. As Jefferson said, I wrote about it in my book. He predicted because federal judges would not be accountable, including Supreme Court justices, unelected, getting their jobs through political patronage, through political campaign contributions, and other bribes. They have become despots and tyrants. They don't represent the American people anymore. So we need to refashion a new justice system. And we need to put into our Constitution discrimination on the basis of ideological and political belief to prevent the discrimination that we see by big tech and by the leftist media. We have a lot to do. You can look around. There's still the residual of wealth, although Biden and Harris are trying to eliminate that by increasing taxes, capital gains taxes to 43%. No one's going to invest in the stock market. That will sink the economy with 43% capital gains on any profits. Increasing personal income tax and increasing corporate tax, which will drive jobs overseas. Allowing for an influx of huge amount of illegal aliens from the border, which will get under H.R. 1 the right to vote. Republicans, however dead the party is, will never win another national election. The demographics have changed. The country's been taken over totally by the left. And if this is not enough, what we have as president is some brain-dead individual who simply, they shoot him up with steroids or whatever to bring him out and sign another executive order, another edict, just like King George III. He's worse than King George III. King George III was not a socialist. He was not a communist. He was not an atheist. He was not a radical Muslim. He was not a Jewish Marxian of the left. He was not a radical LGBTQ. He was not a radical feminist. Most people in these groups are good people, but the radicals have taken over. And radical whites are using radical blacks as their pawn, their stooges to conduct a total takeover of this country. The really smart black people, the people that work for what they got, the people who are a real credit are the black conservatives. Most of them are my friends. They're the only ones with courage. The white people are running for the exits. It's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. Hoping it goes away, hoping that somehow the ship of state won't sink just like the Titanic. Well, I got news for you. It's already sunk. And now it's time to resurrect it. And that's my message for today. Read my book, Read My Lips. It takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. Read the Declaration of Independence. Participate in our citizens' grand juries, which you can see at 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific every Thursday. We will take our justice system back and we will form a new nation, on July 5th and 6th at Independence Hall, right across the street at the Visitor Center, in the birthplace of liberty, in my birthplace, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless your family. Remember, the Father and the Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Otherwise, the writing's on the wall. He will destroy this country, God and his Son, just like they did the temple, for the corruption of the high priests. Because what we live in today is a cesspool of corruption, and the American people must rise up. And that cesspool extends to not just the Democratic Party, but the Republican Party as well. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me.
Hurry in-store or online and celebrate Lowe's Spring Fest before it's over. With values on a Cobalt 40-volt string trimmer, was $159, now $119. Or we've got a Cobalt 40-volt mower, was $299, now $249. Give your yard the works this spring. Spring Fest, a festival of fun and savings for your garden and total home. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Offers valid through 4/28 while supplies last. Selection varies by location, U.S. only. By location, U.S. only.